pop on and show you guys a really easy recipe that's super fun and flavorful to make at the same time. So these two recipes, I posted a link on where you can get them in the event and in this group. So you can get these recipes in my free ebook. So it's the buffalo cauliflower bites and the hemp ranch dressing. And I love this recipe because, again, it's really easy and it's completely nut-free. The buffalo cauliflower bites, you do need to dehydrate them. I have tried cooking them in the oven. I did that once to see how they would work. But honestly, they do not turn out the same. They don't come out nice and crispy. They're just way better in the dehydrator. So I mean, you can try baking them in your oven. If you could probably do it better than me. I'm not really that much of a cook and I don't ever use my oven, so I'm not a pro at it. So again, so we're making the buffalo cauliflower bites, and so for that, we're just gonna blend up a sauce that we're gonna put over the raw cauliflower. And then the hemp ranch dressing as well is just a really easy blended dressing. I love making my own dressings. I don't even remember the last time I bought a store-bought dressing. For one, because there's always so many ingredients in there that I would not even consume. There's usually like GMO canola oil, some kind of like maltodextrin and other kind of ingredients that I wouldn't eat. And making your own sauces and dressings is so easy. If you have a blender, you can do it on your own, no problem. And they're always going to be so much fresher and flavorful. And then you can add like fresh herbs, like what we're doing now, and then it's just going to make it that much better. And like I always say, if you make a lot of dressing in one batch, you can never waste it, because if you have a dehydrator, you can just throw it on some kale chips or throw it on some nori sheets and dehydrate them and put them in the freezer, and then you have snacks. So my dressings never go to waste. That's what I do with them. I never throw them away, but I always usually eat my dressings before they go bad. So I'll make like one dressing and I'll have it in my fridge for 3 to 5 days. And then I'll have that on all of my meals over the next few days. All right, so this hemp ranch dressing, oh, you guys are going to love it. Yeah, so this hemp ranch dressing, I absolutely love it because, like I said, it's really fresh, really flavorful, and again, it's going to last in the fridge about 3 to 5 days. So I always make the hemp ranch dressing at the same time as I make the buffalo cauliflower bites, because you want this dressing to sit in the fridge overnight and really marinate and soak up all the flavors, and it thickens up a bit, so it's so much better the next day. So make them both at once, because we have to wait for the buffalo cauliflower bites anyways to dehydrate overnight for 12 to 20 hours. So then our dressing is going to have time to marinate, soak up all the flavors, and get nice and thick and just be that much better. So if you're just joining, I was just letting everyone know the two recipes we're doing, so the hemp ranch dressing and the buffalo cauliflower bites. And I was just mentioning that we want to make the dressing a day in advance. So make it the same time you make the buffalo cauliflower bites, so it has time to marinate all the flavors and thicken up in the fridge and get really nice. Okay, so let's start off with the hemp ranch dressing. Now this dressing is totally nut-free, and I love using hemp seeds as a base for dressings or anything creamy and sauces, because it gives that really nice creamy consistency. I use them a lot in a lot of my dressings actually, and I make a hemp queso in the 7-day raw food meal plan. I do these jicama tacos with pineapple salsa and the hemp queso, because they're also completely nut-free. And I use hemp seeds as the dressing, and someone had just made it the other day and they're like, oh my goodness, using hemp seeds in a dressing or a sauce is a life changer. They're like, it just gives this really depth of flavor, this kind of smoky flavor. And it does, because hemp seeds, you know, give that really strong nutty taste, so it just makes it really bold and makes it extra yummy, which is great. So, and you'll see that in this dressing as well. And so we're going to be using some zucchini, which I've just peeled and chopped. The reason why we're peeling it is because we don't want our dressing to be green. We want it to be white. It's going to look like a ranch dressing. We want to see these beautiful herbs come through. We want to see that color contrast and texture. So make sure you peel the zucchini. And then we have some apple cider vinegar just to give it a bit more tang, along with some lemon juice, which is going to help give it that acidity. And also don't forget the lemon juice will help preserve it over the next few days. And then we have some garlic. So these cloves of garlic are really small, so I'm using 2. If you don't like garlic that much, then you can just use 1. And then what we're going to do, so once we blend all this up, I have some spices as well. So some Italian seasoning, salt, and onion powder. So I love using onion powder in dresses and sauces because it will give it a little bit of a sweet taste. So you'd notice I'm not using a sweetener here. So the onion powder is going to kind of help sweeten it up. And then we're going to, after we blend that up, then we're going to put in some nice fresh flat leaf parsley, some fresh dill, and some fresh small diced red onion, and we're going to stir that in. And I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so let's get started on this dressing or sauce, dip, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It can be used as a salad dressing, a dip for crudité, so many different things. Put in all my spices, and we're using 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Then I'm just going to blend this up, so just watch out, it's going to be a little loud. And so you'll notice in this recipe we're not adding any water because the zucchini is a really high water vegetable. It's going to provide enough liquid for this dressing, and also you want it to be thick, right? Thick like a ranch sauce. So we don't want it to be super runny. You might need your tamper for this. Water at all. It blended up really nice and it's really thick. It smells really good. So you can see how thick it is there. So we want it that thickness because again we want it to be a nice thick ranch dressing, and I'm just going to scrape down the sides a bit before I add in the herbs. Now I'm going to show you a little trick because instead of having to mince, so I'm going to show you an easy trick. Instead of having to mince all of your herbs, we're just going to put them into the blender, and then we're just going to pulse on low just to mix them all in. So I had some fresh dill. I love fresh dill in dressings, and oh, it's really nice. You don't want to add in the onion though. I have small diced onion. You want to keep that separate, and then I'm just going to stir that in after. I'm just going to get this in here so that it'll blend. I'm going to start with that amount. You have the amounts for the herbs in your recipe. I'm just kind of eyeballing this right now. So I'm just going to turn it on low and just blend it for a few seconds just to mince up all the herbs in there. And you don't want to do that for too long because remember, we don't want our dressing to go green. So I'm just going to check. And I just need to do it for a couple more seconds. So that's probably good. Yeah, perfect. So you can see the herbs are all nice and minced up in there now. So then you want to take your red onion. So I have green onion for this recipe. You do want to use green onion, but I don't have any green onion right now. So I'm using red onion. And if you missed the beginning, you can always watch the replay. I will always post it in the group, and it always goes on YouTube as well. So don't worry, you will always get it no matter what. I'll put in a bit more onion. I like my onion. Again, I'm using red onion right now because I don't have green onion, so you can use either or, it's totally up to you. So you can see I have mixed up the onion in there. We have our beautiful fresh herbs. So now I'm going to put this into just a 500 ml mason jar. And then just let this marinate overnight. Let all the flavors just really soak up and get nice and thick. And you can see it's really thick already. So imagine like when we have our cauliflower done and you dip the cauliflower in here, it's going to coat it really nice. It smells really good, you guys. I wish you could smell it. See, and it's so easy. Like, look how easy that was to make your own dressing. Okay. I'll just put this aside. Let's clean this up. So we have our beautiful hemp seed ranch dressing, totally nut-free, and we're going to use this for the buffalo cauliflower bites. Looks really nice, doesn't it? So let's get started on the, I'm just going to put this in here, this bigger bowl. Oh, actually. All right. So this dressing is like a barbecue, smoky kind of coating that's going to go on the buffalo cauliflower bites. So like I said, this recipe is dehydrated. And I did mention at the beginning, if you missed it, I have tried baking these once, but they didn't turn out that great. They turn out way better in the dehydrator. So if you do have a dehydrator, then that's great. And you can try using your oven. And see what happens. I would do it on really low, or you can just bake them like you normally would cauliflower. But like I said, like the texture is so much better when you dehydrate them. They actually come out crispy and crunchy. And we're going to be using flaxseed, ground golden flax, as the coating to go around to give it that really nice like breadcrumb coating. So you can also use ground almonds, but I'm using ground flax because I'm keeping this nut-free. And so the base is sunflower seeds, some soaked sun-dried tomatoes, and we have some chickpea miso, which is going to help give it some more body and help give it a little bit more salt taste. And then we have some coconut, oh, this is coconut nectar, so we're adding a little bit of sweetener to this recipe. Then we have some coconut aminos. If you don't have coconut aminos, you can use tamari. I'm using some apple cider vinegar, and then our nice smoky flavors. So I have like chipotle chili powder. I use smoked paprika, or you can use regular paprika. And then I have a smoked salt that I'm using, which I absolutely love. So this is just a smoked Himalayan salt, and I just got this on Amazon. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you can get it in most of the stores. So this is awesome smoked salt. And then we have some garlic, of course, because I love my garlic. And then, of course, so the cauliflower. So you want to wash the cauliflower and chop it up into bite-sized pieces before you coat them with the sauce and before you put them in the dehydrator. So that's really important. So these are already washed, and I used one medium-sized cauliflower. So we're going to blend this up. So again, this sauce is just really easy. We're just using a high-speed blender. I'm going to start just putting everything in the blender here. It's just so good for flavor. We have our coconut nectar, which is going to help add that sweetness. You can also use regular soy miso if you can't find chickpea miso. I'm just keeping this soy-free. So I like to use chickpea miso. And I'm going to put in some smoked salt. And you don't want to put in a ton of salt because don't forget we have salt from the sun-dried tomatoes, salt from the coconut aminos, as well as the chickpea miso. So I didn't add a lot of this, just a bit. And then you want to keep the flax aside because we're going to use that to coat on after to give it like a breadcrumb texture. Oh, and we're going to add a little bit of water. So a half a cup of water we do need to add to this recipe. And then we're going to just blend this up. You'll definitely need your tamper for this one. Quite thick, but you do want to blend it until it gets pretty smooth. So this looks good. So you can see there, it's pretty smooth and nice and thick.